Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Newsgram. What happens when we die? I've thought about this a lot. And let's get one thing straight before we begin. It's no longer a debate. There's plenty of information out there that will fill you in on exactly what happens when you die. Whether you believe it or not, well, that's really the key here. But there are some very specific accounts of what happens in and around your death and the afterlife. Today I want to talk to you about an NDE, or near-death experience. Technically, Monica Hart's passed away. It wasn't long, but it was long enough to affect her in profound ways. She was in the hospital undergoing a C-section when she had a near-death experience. Before we continue, I'm going to assume a few things. One is that you've heard a lot of this kind of talk before, because it's been said many times. You've heard about the tunnel of white light, accounts of rising out of your body and seeing yourself lying there, the fact that you meet your family when you die, and that sometimes you're told it's not your time before waking up in your hospital bed. There have been lots of accounts of near-death experiences, and many of them follow this pattern. What I like most about Monica Hart's story was that she saw and now understands the cosmic network that guides our lives.
Yeah, and I didn't want to go back.
For me, it's the takeaways, the unique perspectives, and the lessons learned that make an interesting story. In her book, Dying to Live, The 2 Deaths and One Worth Dying, she admits openly that this was not an easy book to write because it's so personal. She recounts her experiences in vivid details and shares some brilliant insights about forgiveness, finding our purpose, and understanding how the events of our life all connect. Fun fact about forgiveness, it's not about forgiving the people that have wronged you. It's your ability to forgive yourself for the things that you've done. They mean a great deal to you, these situations. They've made a mark on your soul. Being able to let go of them, it's not that easy.
I couldn't let go of this feeling.
Letting go is not easy, and it's an important lesson to learn. Here's a great example. Listen to Monica talk about her experience with Pedro, someone she met during her near-death experience.
I started meeting people, and I was a little surprised because I always thought you meet the people who are already dead. But I met somebody who was still alive. It was an unresolved situation, and it was more a big feeling of guilt on my side because I'd let him down. But when I met him later, I still had this guilt. And I spoke to him, and he's like, why? That's long over and done with, For him, it was nothing. And I put this identity onto me, which was not necessary.
Let me share with you one of the quotes I found in her book. A broken heart has a crack to let more light in. I just love that.
I must admit, I did also have a divorce afterwards, but that was maybe also because I wasn't speaking about my experiences. I was just swallowing it all and keeping it to myself. And that might have caused also the divorce because I just felt things were different and my perception was different. So little things that would annoy my husband, I think, yeah, but that's so irrelevant. You're worrying about these things that I might have worried about before, but it just seemed so strange, and I didn't feel like I was in the right place. And it took me a long time to accept, yeah.
Having a life-altering event can definitely shift your perspective, and learning how to come to terms with all that can be another important lesson to learn. How about this quote from the book? The narcissist has no empathy. That's not a direct quote, but it's pretty close. A little poetic license from me, if you will, to make a point. The thing I like most about this book is the profound importance of the title, Dying to Live. Sometimes that's what it takes to shift our perspective and get us thinking clearly, or at least on the right path. Yeah, it's a bit drastic for some. Fortunately, we can experience what it was like through Monica. I enjoyed reading the life lessons that she learned, and I also enjoyed the way she told the story. Monica is just so easy to relate to, and if you're a sensitive person, you'll probably relate to her even more. I am not, but I still enjoyed the way she tells her story, and how by sharing her story, she teaches us not to get caught up in fear, worry, or toxic, unhealthy relationships. There really is more to life.
We have the choice to choose more affirming lives and not life-draining depression or anxiety, and that there's always a way out, and we're here to live not to suffer or to die every day, you know.
Here's something else you may have heard before, but this book gives these words meaning. Life isn't a rehearsal. You need to live it to the fullest, in the best way you know how. We're all connected to each other through our relationships. We need each other. If you're the kind of person searching for answers, you might find some here.
I really hope that I've managed to touch some people and help them on their way as well.
Dying to Live, The 2 Deaths and One Worth Dying by Monica Hards. It's available online wherever you like to buy books, and we've put a link to one of those sources right in the show's description. And that will do it for this edition of Newsgram from webtalkradio.com.